Anyways, enough boasting. When we ask the question, if there is a referendum tomorrow, how would you vote? 1,000 people on the Greek Cypriot side, 1,000 people on the Turkish Cypriot side. That was the sample size of the poll. As you see, this is where people are saying that most certainly I tend to vote yes. And don't ask me about the colors. Red represents Turkish Cypriots and blue represents Greek Cypriots. So these are sort of hardcore yes sayers or hardcore peaceniks, let me put it that way. And here we have sort of hardcore no sayers. But as you see, somewhere in the middle are people who are undecided. So how do we read this picture? Well, it's the classical example, half full, half empty glass. This is good news, but at the same time bad news. If you have leaders who I think, at least if they have a crash course on dignity, and they would take the necessary steps to prepare their people, they can actually, leaders, what do leaders do? They lead. They don't just stand behind people. They should be at the front pulling their people. If they lead, they can sort of get these people to this side. Or history told us that if you are Papadopoulos, who says, who cries on the TV and says, give a resounding no to this agreement, then you can get most of these people to this side. All right. So, but this picture tells us that there is room that that the leaders can work. Now, this is a very classical picture that we use all the time. We ask people, do you have any hope that the Cyprus problem will be resolved with a comprehensive solution? 65% of Greek Cypriots says, no, I have no hope whatsoever. 69% Turkish Cypriots says again, I have hope whatsoever, no hope. Can you blame people? Because these, what we call intercommunal negotiations have been going on for, do you know how long? The year I was born. And I'm older than I look. Now, so it's been going on for a long time. It's been going on since 1968. Now there, I said it. It started in Beirut between Mr. Denktash and Kleridis, then moved to Nicosia, and then on and off, it's been going on for 44 years. But we also ask people, but do you desire, do you want the Cyprus problem to be resolved with a comprehensive solution? And here you have 68% of Greek Cypriots, 65% of Turkish Cypriots who want this solution to be resolved. So that's encouraging in that sense, which also legitimizes the ongoing negotiations. But, lots of buts. We have conducted 4 polls so far, starting in 2009. And if you look at it here, we have the timeline. Back in 2009, those of the Greek Cypriots who were tending to vote no was 34%. Now it is 51% if there is a referendum tomorrow. So there is a tendency towards no as the negotiations, as the zombie sort of continues. So the undecided ones drop from 44 to 30%. And the yes is also slightly dropping. We have a more sophisticated, more schizophrenic sort of picture for Turkish Cypriots, ups and downs. But because there was also an election, a presidential election that changed the Turkish Cypriot leadership here. But as you see, from last year on, there is a sharp rise. Those who was 24% now, 42% are tending towards no in a referendum. So the picture here, more sophisticated picture here, is not so encouraging. Now, what I'm showing you today of these slides are only maybe 5% of the slides that we have prepared, but you can find the rest of them in our website, which I'm going to show you at the end, so that I can keep your attention here. Now, we tested almost everything. These are the solution models. From a unitary state where the Greek Cypriots will be majority and the Turkish Cypriots will be the minority, and majority decides whatever it wants, to a bizonal, bicommunal federation, continuation of the current situation, two separate states, confederation of two sovereign states. When you see the orange, that's not good news, meaning orange is the one that people find entirely unacceptable. So as you say, for Greek Cypriots, their first preference is a unitary state where the Turkish Cypriots will be a minority and they can do whatever they want. Look at here, a bizonal, bicommunal federation, meaning the basic parameters of a future solution that the two sides, at least on paper, agreed upon since 77, 79 high-level agreements, a bizonal, bicommunal federation, comes as the second preference or second choice for Greek Cypriots. But it is encouraging that a federation is outrightly rejected by only 19%. The rest find it either absolutely essential, highly desirable, satisfactory, or tolerable if necessary. So we have a chance for federation. What is the picture for Turkish Cypriots? Well, surprise, surprise. Two separate and internationally recognized states is their first choice, of course. Now, bizonal, bicommunal federation is outrightly rejected by only 24% of the Turkish Cypriot population. So as you see, similar to Greek Cypriots, a bizonal, bicommunal federation is their second choice. Not the first, but the second choice. And majority finds it either desirable, satisfactory, or tolerable. So what does these two pictures tell us? It tells us that if we are going to solve the Cyprus problem through negotiations, because there are many other ways of solving problems, but if we are going to use negotiations, we have only one alternative if we want it to pass from the referendum, and that's federation, whether we like it or not. I remember many years ago, one of the UN diplomats told me that, about 20 years ago, that the solution in Cyprus is something that will make both sides slightly unhappy. And I said, what do you mean by that? Well, if you make one side very happy, the other side very unhappy, guess what? Is it going to sustain? All right? Now, so a federation here is the compromise solution, where it's going to make a bitter taste on both sides, because none of the sides will get 100% of what they want, but at least it is much better than killing one another, right? Now, we continue. We then looked at more closely to these models. Here we tried, a bizonal, bicommunal federation, but what other details? This is a bizonal, bicommunal federation which includes freedom of settlement, freedom of property ownership throughout the territory, and there is also an end to the guarantorship system. This is what we call federation a la Greek Cypriots. As you see, 79% like it. Yeah, no guarantees and 3 freedoms without any restriction. What about Turkish Cypriots? You're not going to sell this to Turkish Cypriots, that's for sure. Okay, a bizonal, bicommunal federation where you have some restrictions on settlement and property ownership, and where the treaty of guarantee or the three guarantor powers continue. The Turkish Cypriots allow this. Here, sorry. But you're not going to sell this to the Greek Cypriots. 72% don't like this idea. So the trick is somewhere here. How are you going to find a novel way of solving this bizonal, bicommunal federation with the right ingredients in terms of, maybe not call it guarantee, but how are you going to deal with the security interest or security needs of the two sides, as well as this idea of not being overtaken by the other community, all right, in your own constituent state. Now we tried the other models. A unitary state, it wouldn't pass. Recognition of the TRNC, even the Turkish Cypriots have some skepticism there, because they want recognition only in the case that the Greek Cypriots also recognize. So they don't want a sort of just everybody recognize us and we continue our sort of tense relationship with the Greek Cypriots. They want a clean solution. I'll tell you why. We also tested things like what I call Taiwanization of North Cyprus. See, even the Turkish Cypriots, 54% don't like the idea of Taiwanization, or what I call Kosovoization of North Cyprus, meaning some number of countries recognize you but not the rest. So as you see, half of Turkish Cypriots don't like the idea. I came to the conclusion that they want a clean solution, all right, not half-baked solutions. We also tested this annexation, what I call Hatayization of North Cyprus, it is also a model which is not going to be, at least now, accepted by any side. Continuation of the status quo, again, minority on both sides support the idea. Anyways, today we are stuck with, in the executive branch, the idea of cross-voting and rotation. I'm going to show you a couple of slides that we have not shown to anybody yet, because we have finished this study and not published it yet. But it doesn't look good. I'm sorry. Greek Cypriots, 51% don't like the idea of cross-voting, rotating presidency and consensual decision-making of the two communities in the future federation. Similarly, 46% of Turkish Cypriots also don't like the idea. Not so much encouraging. I'm going to skip a lot, but what is somewhat encouraging is sort of consensual decision-making, which is not rejected by more than half of the population on both sides. So something novel can be tested. The Swiss model in the Annan Plan, where you had the presidential council, I think is a good idea, where you don't have a strong ethno-nationalist leader that might try to destabilize the solution, but you have basically some executives elected directly or indirectly by, let's say, the Senate, where decisions are made consensually. That can be the solution. So this is our website. If you want to get a hold of the rest of the slides, you can find them there. Now, let me provoke you a little bit. What about the political elites? Now we talked about the public. What about the political elite? I have been trying to plot where the political elites are vis-a-vis the Cyprus problem and the important dossiers. I think that the first priority of the Greek Cypriot political elite is a unitary state. This is similar to, choices that we make, right? I mean, your first preference is to be a doctor, right? Medical doctor. If you cannot be a medical doctor, what happens? You go to your second preference. You become a dentist. If you cannot become a dentist, what happens? Then you become a professor of international relations or something like that. Or whatever. So it's, you understand the logic. The second preference of Greek Cypriot political elite, unlike their people, is the continuation of the status quo.